Good morning, math students. There has been quite a few questions on sector area and arc length and rounding, things like that. So I decided to make a really quick Friday Flex Day help video. So 3 things that I think you should definitely be paying attention to, or definitely should be doing. The first one is to take notes during the videos. That's a huge thing. Take notes of formulas and parts of the circle, examples, things like that that are definitely going to help you on the practice pages and on the Schoology quizzes. Use your notebook. That's a big one. I want you to write down all of the examples. I want you to write down your work for the Schoology quizzes. For the Schoology quizzes, do them in your notebook so that you can go back and copy the answers if they're correct. So when you have to retake it again, you don't have to redo every problem. Or if you get one wrong, you can find the mistakes that you made. That's the biggest thing. Find the mistakes so that you can fix them. And then last but not least, you guys are really doing a good job of this. Ask questions. I have been answering a lot of questions and I like that. So please, please, please keep it up. You're doing a great job. So let's talk about arc length and sector area. Those are the ones that are seeming to give you guys enough trouble. Arc length and circumference go together. Remember the circumference, the formula, I'll get that out yet. Is pi times the diameter. Or if you don't have the diameter, pi times the radius times 2. Either one of those works. Area, to find the area, it's pi r squared. Once you have that, you're going to find your central angle, because that goes on top of 360. You're going to find what you do to 360. Either you're going to multiply by something or divide by something. And you do that to the same thing. You do the same thing on the other side with either the area or the circumference. Again, taking notes and making sure you have all of this stuff is a good thing. So let's do a couple of examples. And I took this off of your practice page. So you've probably already done them or attempted them. Let's do the easy one first. Let's do number 2. Let's use my pen versus my highlighter. So I'm going to set up my ratio. I know I have 360. This angle here is straight across. I know that's 180 degrees. So what do I do to 360 to get 180? On my calculator, I do 360 divided by 180, and I get 2. So if I do 360 divided by 2, that gives me 180. And I double check it, make sure that works. 360 divided by 2 gets 180. That means over here, I'm going to do the same thing. Once I get my circumference down here, I'm going to divide it by 2, and that'll give me my arc length. So let's find circumference. Circumference is pi times the diameter. They tell you to use 3.14 for pi. My diameter goes all the way across. That's 3 inches. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 3. And once I do that, that gives me 9.42. But I'm not done because remember now I have to carry it up here. So I'm going to divide by 2. So once I divide it by 2, I get 4.71. And of course here I'm going to label it. On your quizzes you don't have to. They tell you to round to the nearest tenth. Most of the time I have you round to the nearest hundredth. And that's already done. This is tenths place, this is hundredths place, so we are good. Speaking of rounding, let's review that really quickly. Rounding, you are going to look at the previous, you're going to look at the next number. So let's say we have 4.3 3, 2, 6, 7. And I want you to round to the nearest hundredth. Here's the spot I want you to round to. We're going to take a look at the next number. What does this 6 do to the 2? If it is 0 through 4, it stays the same. You leave it alone, you don't do anything. If it's 5 through 9, you go up 1. So this is 6, it's 5 through 9, so instead of 3, 2, I'm going to have 3, 3. Let's do another one quick. 4.72336. Round to the nearest hundredths. Here's what I'm doing. This 3, because it's 0 through 4, does not do anything. 4.72. Make sure you know how to round. And again, if you need to take notes, this would be a good thing to be writing down, maybe with a couple of examples so that you know what you're doing. Okay, let's do a trickier problem. Let's do number 3, because number 3 is the one where people start getting mixed up. In our previous problem, 180 went into 360 very nicely. We knew we could divide by 2. That was beautiful. It doesn't always work out that way. Here I have a degrees of 315. Now, if I take 360 divided by 315, I get a really long, ugly number. I get 1.142857, and it keeps on going. I do not want to use that. Don't use it. So I'm going to switch it around. I'm going to do 315 divided by 360. And that's going to give me a nice decimal, 0.875. So I know I'm going to do something with 0.875. It's a much nicer decimal. 0.875 is less than 1. If I did 360 times 1, I would get 360. But I want something that's less than 360. 0.875 is less than 1. So I am going to multiply. So double check it. Do 360 times 0.875, and you should get 315. So if it doesn't work this first way, you get a long, ugly decimal, don't do it that way and switch it around, and you're going to have a nicer decimal, and chances are you will be multiplying. So I know when I come over here, I'm going to multiply by 0.875. So let's find the arc length. So circumference is pi times the diameter. So I'm going to do 3.14. Here they give us 11 feet. But no, that's only halfway. That's the radius. So I'm going to do 11 times 2. So when I do all of that, I get 69.08. I multiply that by 8.75. And I get 60445. Now, I need to round to the nearest hundredth. Sorry, messy writing there, but here we go. So let's do 60.445. I want to round to the nearest hundredth. What does this 5 do to the 4? It takes it up 1, so my answer is 60.45. And there's my answer. Notice, please, that there's quite a bit of work involved. I mean, we did all of this just to get our answer. You don't have to write everything down like I did, but this is the work that goes into finding arc length. So let's do one. We'll do this last one, only we're going to do, instead of finding the arc length, now we're going to find the sector area, which is the exact same thing, only now you're going to use area. So I got 150 over 360. So if I divide 360 by 150, gives me a nice number. So I'm going to divide by 2 4/10. That's a nice number. We don't have to switch it around, which is good. So I know over here, I'm going to divide by 2 4/10. So let's find area. Area is pi r squared. So 3.14 for pi. We have our radius of 19. So we're going to do 19 times 19. Plug it all into your calculator. I get 1133.54. But again, I'm going to divide that by 2.4. Okay, 472.308, and then a bunch of threes, but we don't need that. We're rounding to the nearest hundredth. That's what I want you to do, so I'm going to use all of this. What does this 8 do to that? Takes it up 1, 472.31, and if we have to label it, it's feet. There's our answer. Okay, I'm going to put this on Schoology in the next few minutes, and then there will also be a Google Meet that I'm going to open up. So look for the time and the code, and hopefully we can get more questions answered. Feel free to go back and look over this video anytime you need to. And if you still have questions, send me a message or come to the Google Meet. Have a great Friday.